Hello and welcome to Talking Dogs on Monday. I hope you've had a great weekend. Mother's Day yesterday. I hope you celebrated that special woman in your life. But now it's time to talk about some of the wonderful action over the last 2 to 3 days in Ireland. I'm joined as always by the exiled dub Tommy Lyons and the Cheshire Cat, Sarah Kinsella, as we look back on the Juvenile Classic from Tralee, as well as some of the outstanding racing throughout the country. Let's get into it. The Juvenile Classic, Tommy, finished at Tralee on Friday night. No surprise to see Liam Dowling winning it. The winner doing everything right, getting to the front, charging home, winning in good style, and the dog in second, perhaps again enhancing his reputation, Culavaniotto. I think they're two very special greyhounds. I wouldn't be surprised if there was 3 or 4 very special greyhounds in this contest. It is one we will be talking about, you would imagine, for the next number of months.
Yeah, it was really good performance by the winner actually because it was fiercely competitive. I mean, he had to get the better of Culavaniotto on the run up and did that, and then you had on the outside your baby Buckle giving her a real challenging really hard. They were neck and neck. I think the commentator said that maybe even six was slightly in front going towards halfway, maybe she's coming off the second bend to halfway. Um, just you'd like a lot about it. It was actually, very mature racing from the winner. That's what I'd like about it. For obviously a very inexperienced greyhound, very mature racing to kind of fend off those sort of challenges, and win accelerated off the last bend. Could um, just not the complete article yet. That's all. I mean, and you'd probably expect that maybe most of them aren't. But I thought he ran another cracking race as soon as the gap opened off the last bend. He rushed through and got up for second place, getting that by a neck. But the winner was 2.5 lengths dear Ballymac Patriot, and I suppose exactly what we talked about last week with the race. We expected that it would Culavaniotto had a good draw and that Ballymac Patriot would have to be sharp to beat him to the punch. Now, obviously, we half expected that maybe Carol Glady might lead the race, but we did highlight the fact that there was going to be a bit of concern. Carol Glady again showed her tendency to step right out of traps. She broke reasonably well without flying from boxes. Ballymac Dapper did exactly what he had shown in his previous races. He went for the inside. They bumped a couple of times. Ballymac Dapper had just got the better of that argument going into the bend, and then he bumped with Culavaniotto, and that ended his race. Carol Glady had to leap him at the first bend, and it's just they were out of it. Our Cracker ran a good race actually in the field, finishing not beating that far in fourth place. But I just think the winner on the night, the winner was the best dog by quite a nice margin. And I think even though you could say what you like about Culavaniotto on the night, I think Ballymac Patriot very very much deserved it.
Yeah, I think our cracker cost Culavaniotto any chance, and he sort of stood him just on the corner. It's hard to know whether he stood him before he was forced to check, or it was as a result of him being forced to check that he was sort of stood on, and all of a sudden, from potentially going around a very close second or nearly third, he finds himself back in fourth spot off the second bend. He's no doubt he's very powerful, but as you said, it's all about getting out in front of these finals. And Sarah, it was Ballymac Patriot that got out in front. You spoke to, I'm sure you spoke to Liam and to Shane after the race. Did you get any guide from them as regards, did they think Ballymac Patriot was their number one coming into it, or was it a case that they just threw a number of darts and hoped that a few of them would stick? And obviously, Ballymac Patriot was the dart that hit the bullseye.
Yeah, they didn't really highlight anything like that in particular, but I think they're just, as Liam said to me after the race, he says, "Oh, my heart," he says, because he as much as these finals he's winning and all over the country, they still mean a lot to him. He still gets nervous watching them. I mean, these are homebred dogs. They mean the world to Liam and the family. As Shane said, about 90% of their staff were there for the final on Friday night, and they had an army of runners. Just like the Buckleys did as well, but they had a great night. I went to Radio Kerry earlier that day. They were asking me what I fancied, and I Ballymac Patriot. I love the dog. I think he's so professional, looking for such a young age. And we can look forward to his future, as we mentioned last week. Same with Culavaniotto. But yeah, they didn't say anything in particular that they were. I imagine Ian, all trainers target these races and know what they have going into it. They know how hard it is. It's like I was listening to Willie Mullins the other day when he was talking about his horses. Like, yes, he has the horses, and yes, you go to the Cheltenham and whatever, but you still have, everything has to go your way. You still have to get into the position that you want. You still have to, it's the same with the dogs. You can get to these finals, but everything had to go Ballymac Patriots' way, and it did. And he had to dig deep to win as well, because down the back straight, as Tommy was mentioning, Baby Bocco did have every chance they were nip and tuck down the back straight, and Ballymac Patriot just showed pure class. I thought, oh, Cracker ran a brilliant race actually, and I was standing beside the traps and I took the break in slow motion on my camera. It was a relatively even enough break, but Ballymac Patriot just had that extra boost going into the bend. So look, we can look forward to all these dogs. Also, I spoke to the connections of Cork Lady, and they're big fans of this show as well. And they're going to keep her. I don't think she's going for anything straight away. I'm pretty sure they're not going to go for the Continental Kirby or Easter Cup or anything like that. They're going to keep her for the Puppy Oaks, I think, is what the plan is. So yeah, it's great when you go to the track, you get to talk to all these different people and meet new faces and get to know the stories behind how they buy the bitches and stuff. Because the Mr. McManus that owns Cork Lady, it's been 8 years since he owned a dog, and the first one he's bought now in 8 years was Cork Lady, and look, he's having success with her already. So there's a story attached to everyone, which is nice as well.
Yeah, I was only talking to Positive Andy the other evening about Peter McManus. The fact that he got back into greyhounds, and the first one he buys is a full sister to Coulivanny Hoffa. It'd be nice to be able to pick up the phone and buy that sort of a performer. Tommy, Ballymac Patriot, there's no question. He is definitely Kirby Memorial bound. He seems to have all the attributes. 28:44. Like, we'll get into it in a few minutes. There were faster times done on the night, but I think that's a matter of circumstance. He's edging in. He's taking that bump, but even though he was challenged down the back straight by Baby Bocco, we knew that Baby Bocco was going to stay nice and wide. It was only going to be one winner at halfway. Baby Bocco will be a better greyhound at sort of more galloping tracks. He's more of a Shelbourne Park greyhound, no question about it. But Ballymac Patriot, a good winner, 28:44, another winner of the Juvenile Classic for Liam Dowling. And you just get the sense that I think we'll be seeing far better from this fellow. I don't think we saw him even at his very best in the final, and sort of the likes of the Kirby Memorial is where he will really start to develop, you'd imagine, and who's to say he can't be there on final night in the Kirby, a regular sort of 28:10 type greyhound.
I think the clock is probably down to the fact that there was a little bit of trouble in the race, and also he did a 3:16 compared to 3:11s in the second and third rounds. And also, I think he'll sharpen up in that sense. But we talked about it last week. Like, he looks like a strong dog. We were saying about Ballymac Dapper. Had he been inside him in the previous week, would he have led him? And maybe it would have been a different race. And it could have been. But actually, Ballymac Patriot is a strong stayer. And I think that kick, I think we haven't played it up enough, or we'll talk about it probably down the line when we see more of it in Shelbourne Park and wherever else he goes. He stays really, really well.
Yeah,
Did really well, and I think it's only a matter of sharpening up. He has it. He has almost everything already, and if he can sharpen up a little bit at the boxes, he's a proper Derby dog.
That'll come down to pedigree. He's out of Ballymac Wisdom. Ballymac Wisdom is Coulivanny Angie, of course, who was the dam of the likes of Ballymac Anton and Ballymac Kingdom, Sporting Rita. Just loads of really strength. There's loads of strength in the pedigree. Ballymac Cashout is a sire, of course, obviously trained by Liam, had a curtailed career, shortened career, looked a really special talent in his early races. And I know Liam had felt that he hadn't really got to the bottom of him just yet. And, shame that he had a shortened career, but he is after making a good start to his stud career. And I suppose that adds to the as Sarah said, like, this is a homebred, and it's purely homebred. Like, damn, you go back 4 or 5 generations. Sire, you can go back a few generations. Like, this is like, you hear Ted Walsh speaking about it, like, I trained the mother or whatnot, or I rode the mother. Well, Liam can say he trained the great granddad. Like, that's the way it works.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not too many people, not too many Druby Sydneys in a final these days. But Ballymac Cashout is a Druby Sydney, so that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. There's a bit of Sydney in there. Coulivanny Otto was in second spot. Again, we've spoken ad nauseum about him in the previous rounds. He's an immensely fast greyhound. He's an immensely fast greyhound. As you said, Tommy, I think you used the term not quite the finished article. I agree with you there. I think he'll sharpen up. I would have been very interested to see how he got around as close as he should have the other evening without maybe or Cracker clipping his heels, how close he would have been. he's just so powerful. Like, he's just a joy to watch when he's in full stride, and we'll see them clashing again in the Kirby Memorial. To suspect Baby Bocco, we've suggested, would be better elsewhere. Our cracker is just a real all-rounder, very much like a sire. He's a good starter, he's good down the back, he stays on well. There are dogs go up faster, there are dogs go down the back faster, but not too many will do all three as well as he does, and no question he'll have a good career. Currogue lady, we mentioned, she missed, well, she didn't miss the kick, she didn't get her flyer, and again, Ballymac Dapper was straight in on top of her, and Ballymac Dapper racing from trap 5. Well, I think there'll be a middle seat of the evening. There'll certainly be a change of seating for Ballymac. No, he was an inside seat. He'll certainly race as an inside seat in the future, no question about that. I'd be very interested to see him some night where he's in trap 1 or trap 2 and see how he goes, because I think there's a huge run in him and he could yet turn into a real star. Sarah?
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I think they all will. We're going to see all in a few months' time, or even next year. We're going to look back saying, "Oh, he was in the juvenile final." Do you remember that? We're going to be talking about all of them, whether it's the Laurels, the Ledger, the Winter Racing Festival, Conanany Kirby, Oaks. It doesn't matter. We're going to see the names all around the country in the coming months, which is very exciting. So we've a lot to look forward to with them. I can't wait. Also, just to mention before I forget, Knocknagoshel School had their fundraising event there on Friday night as well. I spoke to the principal, Kate McSweeney, and other members of the staff. The kids were there playing their violins and whatnot. Put me to shame. I can't even play a tin whistle, for God's sake. It was brilliant to see. The place was packed. Michael Healy-Rae was there. I believe he got an interview on GTV. I didn't see it. The Cliffords were there. They'd done the draw for the national school.
There was a moment when Michael Healy-Rae was interviewed in Racing Post TV, and they went back to the studio. And genuinely, the two lads in the GTV studio, honestly, I don't know what language he was talking. They were nearly saying. I text Robert Catterson later in the evening and said, "Oh, you're interviewing all the celebs tonight." I showed a picture of Michael Healy-Rae on the TV. He said, "Yeah," he says, "most of them were talking Kerry." I think that sums it up. You mentioned Knocknagoshel, our great Greyhound area, Knocknagoshel. If you look back at some of the stars that emerged from Knocknagoshel over the years, some real top class performers. I believe, could Judicial Pride have been from down Knocknagoshel way? I could be wrong. Just the undercard, some big runs. Pat Buckley had a big double in the 6th and 7th races. Road Exile 17:43. He looked the part in the race ahead of but he was forced to pull out all the stops in a lifetime. Octane Cora got loose after coming in as a reserve in race 7 instead of Glengar Martha. No surprise there. Glengar Martha was in action in the Cesarewitch on Sunday. They were hardly going to run around both. Ballymac Wendy was the 10-11 favourite. Didn't happen for the Kerry Oaks winner. Instead, Octane Cora got loose into the corner, stretched on to win. I thought Kinturk Road ran a very encouraging race in second spot. She'll be getting ready for all the top 750-yard contests. Ballymac Winks ran well. Super Fast Gordon was most impressive on the undercard. This is a dog who really is putting some serious runs together. Ballymac Finn led. It's not too often we've seen Ballymac Finn lead and be picked up. Tommy, Super Fast Gordon, he is probably living up to his name.
He is living up to his game, and you're right. Not very often. Like Ballymac Finn was like a comfortable kind of leader into the bend, maybe length and a half or so. Super Fast Gordon had and didn't even get that clearer run. I thought he had to kind of manufacture it himself or work hard to get that run at the leader. Lovely turn of pace. He's a dog that is living up. The kind of change of pace from just entering the third bend to get around the third bend, the length in front of the third and fourth bends and kicked on up the straight. Jesus, it was a huge performance. Huge.
Sarah,
I would like to say, so
on.
just before I finish on the final, two dogs that are going to the Kirby front, first two home, you would say they have that kind of power and strength, stamina that you need going all the way to the escape in Limerick as well. Very important. If you're a dog that's flying out and not getting home over 5-5 now as an immature dog, which a lot of these are going to be anyway in the Kirby, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. These aren't that type, even though they're very inexperienced. I think they're kind of made for the Kirby.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. Sarah, Super Fast Gordon, did you get to speak to any of the Buckley Kennel afterwards? Like, he is a dog who had Tralee form, of course. He ran so well in the Kingdom Derby. He's out of an Oaks winner. He just seems to have... I suppose he came a little bit under the radar of the recent times. Maybe because you're not looking at a Kirby with him, because he is that, what is he, December or November? He's at his 15th of December. Like I think we mentioned last week, you'd have been hoping that the control steward couldn't get down for a few weeks and you'd have said, oh, he's a January 2nd. But like this is a dog that could easily, like I don't know if they're maybe talking about putting him on the boat, going to Toaster with him, or maybe Shelbourne later in the year, but he could easily turn into a Derby type dog.
He could, yeah. I really, really like this dog. I was in Shelbourne that night. He done 28:33 on his second race, I think it was. And look, you think, oh yeah, that's one to keep an eye on for the future. And then when the Eric Brown Memorial Derby came around in Kerry, yeah, like that, I was more focused on the bigger names at the time. I don't mean that to sound like bad on him, but he went into the final of the Kingdom Derby unbeaten, I think. I think he was favoured on the night. Road Exile obviously won the race, but I absolutely love everything about this dog, and he's still very lightly raced. He can go to all these tracks and win. He's won in Limerick, he's won in Shelbourne, he's won in Tralee. He's versatile. He's adaptable. He's, have dog will travel, as I always say. He's a dog you can just bring to any track. So I think we're going to see a lot of him this year, and I do think he will win something big.
Yeah.
They think the absolute world of him.
Well, you look at that display there. Like if they don't go down the English Derby route, like there's a Race of Champions sort of campaign there for him. He's got great form around Tralee. You bring him to Shelbourne Park for the likes of Champion Stakes derbies. Obviously, Easter Cup could be on the agenda. Just a dog. He's a handy 71 pounds. Just a lot to like about him. Yeah, a dog to keep an eye on in the future. Just to mention there, the last race on the card, good support in the ring for Impact My Hawaii. I thought he ran well off the front. Nice type, winning an A1570. Good night down at Tralee on Friday night. Well done to all involved, and of course, congratulations to Liam Downing yet again. Another brilliant success in the Juvenile Classic with Ballymac Patriot. We will be keeping a keen eye on Ballymac Patriot going forward, as well as the remaining finalists. Moving on, big racing across the country over the weekend. We'll nearly do it in chronological order. I think we'll start with Newbridge on Friday. Newbridge on Friday, we saw the second round of the Brownstown Tango Newbridge Track Supporters Open Bitch Unrace competition. Stars of the opening round were by Crafty Bondi and Fairy Footsteps. They both shone again. They were both brilliant. Crafty Bondi is very special. Absolutely. This lady could be an absolute superstar. Obviously, she's from the same kennel, same owner as Crafty Kokoro, and I would be sort of rating her around the same sort of ability. She won her heat in 28:32 from Barefoot on Song, who led early, looks a nice type herself, but Crafty Bondi, her pace from halfway into the third bend, around the third bend and home is phenomenal. 28:32. Coming from 2 or 3 lengths off the pace. That'll do. The second heat went to Coolaveni Poppy. This lady had shown a bit of promise in the opening round, charging through the lead on the opening corner to win in 28:70 odd. She's a sister to Carogue Lady, who ran in the Juvenile Classic final. She's a full sister by repeat mating to Coolaveni Hoffa, trained by Pat Buckley for James and Nathan Corden, who of course had Coolaveni Otto in the Juvenile Classic decider. This lady popped out, showed good early speed, got to the front, 28:30, massive run. The bitch in second, Rossa L, I mentioned her last week. She looks immensely fast also. She's very, very, very strong. She's beaten 4 lengths, but lost nothing in defeat. But Coolaveni Poppy, again, she is one that could certainly develop into an Oaks contender, perhaps more so than Crafty Bondi, given the fact that she's more early speed. And then Fairy Footsteps, who has been ultra professional in her 2 starts to date. She's still on the card to Michael Flynn, but of course we know she is owned by Willie Rigney and Keith Alsop. Keith, of course, had bought Slick Sakina, who won this competition a couple of years ago. Willie had to buy this bitch back. He got first refusal on her. He had bred her. He'd given her in a swap deal with Mikey Flynn and said, "Listen, give me first refusal on her if she turns into anything good." So Willie owned her, gave her away, bought her back. But he's like, I'm sure he's more than happy with his purchase. She won again in 28:43 tonight. She looks so professional at this stage in her career. It's wonderful to see. She's a very, very talented lady. 4 or 5 superstars are going to emerge from Newbridge. Sarah, yeah, I think the future's bright. We've been talking about these ladies for a few years now. There's no sign of it abating. There is so many reasons to bring bitches to the track these days. I think it's going to continue this way. In times gone by, some of these may not have even made the track. They have been bred relatively early, given their pedigrees, but we are seeing them hitting the track. They are performing, and as a result, down the line, their stock it's rising with each and every performance. Like already, first pups from any of these bitches are going to cost fortunes.
Yeah, they're already sold before they're even born, is the case now. Most of them, isn't it? I remember when Holy Cross Leah when she was in the Derby, I was like saying to Jerry Mealy, I was interviewing him throughout the whole thing. I was like, now keep me a pup now, won't you? Like people are already just assuming that they're going to be absolute superstars. Of course, it doesn't always work out that way. But look, Fairy Footsteps, all those three winners, they won their opening heat as well. So look, that Fairy Footsteps, I seen Mickey Flynn in Mullingar last night. Like I love this bitch. She's 73 pounds. She's not small. She's a fine bitch, so she is. Renna Cracker 28.43, and look, Coulivanny Poppy as well 28.30. They're all justifying their odds. Fairy Footsteps 2-5. Coulivanny Poppy was actually a nice bit of value of 6-4, and Crafty Bondi 2-5. Three cracking bitches that we can look forward to in the future as well. You know, with the Oaks and everything like that coming up. I love this competition, and you wrote a good article on it before it started a few weeks ago about all the different bitches that have come out of this down through the years. Not necessarily that I've won it, just that I've ran in it. You know, lads targeting this, knowing what they have unraced going into it. It's a fantastic competition. Well done to everyone in Newbridge. I feel like Newbridge needs some more bigger stakes. It's a cracking track. And also that Crafty Bondi as well. Like she's improving as well. Like her sectionals. She improved week on week as well. She's one to be very, very excited about, Crafty Bondi.
Yeah, no, she's a superstar. Have no doubt. She is the one absolute guaranteed superstar coming out of this competition. She's very, very special. Tommy, yeah, we're again, I've used the term earlier on. We're speaking ad nauseum about these bitches over the last 4, 5, 6 years now. At this point, just another very, very special crop coming through, it seems.
Yeah, I can't see on the video what happened to Crafty Bondi. Did she get a little bit lost around the first bend? She definitely got a tiny bit of trouble. Well, maybe more than a tiny bit of trouble. Was it Susie Opera House, or was it Rolo Dakota? I'm not sure. Which some of them seem to maybe clip her, but did she lose that herself by easing into the bend, or what happened to her? Not really sure. Because her doing 28.32 is pretty phenomenal considering that first to second bend, how much ground she lost at that point.
I think Droopy's Wriggle caught her heels from 4. I think when she was forced to check out wide, and I think there's an awful lot thought about Droopy's Wriggle as well. Actually, now to give it a mention. Another one, I think it's Robert Gleason trains her, but yeah, I think she got caught on the heels, just lost that little bit of momentum. But as you said, when she gets racing, like her power and fluency around the bottom two bends is startling.
The last of the up the straight as well is just ridiculous. 28.32 is phenomenal considering that. Now you would be encouraged by, and again we talk about this all the time. We don't need to tell people this, but you know they're going to change their style of racing somewhat. They can change their style of racing. They won't necessarily. They can change their style of racing over time. She went from 102 to a 092, improving 10 spots from debut to second run. That's encouraging as well as everything else from Crafty Bondi. But she's nowhere near the finished article. We talked about it earlier on. Coulivanny, she's nowhere near the finished article, and she's doing 28.32 around Newbridge. That's savage running, that is.
Yeah, if you look at even the sectionals to the third bend, hers is the slowest. Hers is the slowest of the heats to that point, and she wasn't even in front at that point. So like she's probably after coming home the guts of 5 or 6 lengths faster than Coulivanny Poppy, and certainly 2 or 3 lengths, maybe 4 lengths faster than the Fairy Footsteps. It's like it's clear that it's all power. You know, there's not too many 5-2-5 yard competitions where she will shine. I'm sure she could get an Oaks entry, and she's the type that will progress. But just again, that power of going forward, it's there for all to see. Peter tells me she can go up a bit faster than she has, and she may well do. But I'd like to be buying her stock over sort of 550 upwards rather than 550 and shorter. But no, very, very special lady. Let's move on. Shelbourne Park. Sarah, it's not an easy one to call, and I wasn't calling it up the home straight. The book your fishing on Swim Bookers A2525. We saw a good winner, Ian Riley. Good to see Ian with a good winner at Shelbourne Park. It wasn't his only winner at Shelbourne on Saturday night, but this fellow really sort of put this race to bed pretty early. Phoenix Tyson flashing out of boxes, making every inch of running to win the €5,000 prize.
Yeah, just before we go on that, can I quickly mention, because obviously Newbridge was on the Monday night, Davy Traynor had a brilliant winner in the final called Lodgefield. Olive just got up on the line to win by a short head, and the place absolutely erupted. when it was announced the winner. We all know Davey's not well, so I just wanted to give him a mention on this. He's recently celebrated his 70th birthday. His family were there. We brought them inside, done a presentation. It was magic. I just wanted to mention that. Sorry to go off topic, but anyway, yes. That is a mouthful. That final in Shelbourne Park. I think that's one of Martin Lanny's owners who sponsored that competition. His name now escapes me. But I didn't see too much racing actually from the night, but I did watch this and I thought he was very, very good. 5,000 for, what was it, 2 or 3 runs, I think. Excellent. And a great initiative competition, because no back graders and stuff like that. We all like to see those types of competitions. Won in 28.60. He was very, very good. I actually fancied Lanny's in this Valderrama. I think he's one to keep an eye on. Good news in Martinstown Diva, very well bred. But yeah, an epic final. A great night, a great card actually in Shelbourne Park, because I know a lot of the dogs were having their run coming up to the Easter Cup. They wanted to get a run under their belt and stuff like that. So it was a really good night and good racing.
We'll get to them now. Phoenix Tyson flashed away, always led 28.60, easily the fastest run of his career, but he's only, 6 races into his career. If he keeps breaking like that, he'll win a load of races, no question about it. Sarah alluded to it there. The Easter Cup starts next week. A couple of dogs trialled before racing. A couple of dogs trialled on Friday night. We're interested. I see Carrigaldo trialled over the 5.25. Maybe they are having a think about the Easter Cup. Be interesting to see. Longer runs at the corner will certainly suit. But dogs that you would imagine will definitely be in the Easter Cup are the Laddie Da, Honey Sky, Ballymac Marino, Katunda Kieran. Firstly, let's get to the Laddie Da. Plenty went wrong. But he still managed to get up and beat Honey Sky in 28.59. He's good for about 6 lengths faster on the other nights running, and I'm sure he'll come on for it. He had trialled very well in recent times, but the Laddie Da, he's going to need to find his trapping boots this year. It's just one thing, he hasn't been dominating his races in recent times, and if he doesn't find those trapping boots, Tommy, he could find himself in serious trouble against the very, very best. I have no doubt he's probably, if not the fastest dog in the country, certainly in the top 3 fastest dogs in the country, but I'd just like to see him either on the fence or getting his trapping in order. He found a little bit of traffic into the opening corner, got squeezed, but still forced his way around in second spot. Got held up then around the bottom 2 bends. Himself and Honey Sky bumping 2 or 3 times. I think it was more the Laddie Da just wanted to get on the fence, and then off the final bend, he had to regather himself, got up in the closing yards to win by a half length. And the fact that he even posted 28.59 is testament to how fast he is.
Yeah, it is. But like since last year's Derby, he's only run over the Derby trip once.
Yeah,
missed the kick completely that night. Actually showed a lot of pace, as you'd expect him to do. I agree with you. He'd have to sharpen up. I think he will, and I think the 550 boxes would be a help, and the slightly longer run and everything. There's a lot. There's a lot to my mind that will. I think he's been quite cleverly campaigned. I think they've done the right thing with him, not run them over further.
It's only been bits and pieces really since his Derby campaign. They've been keeping him sort of fresh and well, with a view that 2024 could be his year.
Yeah, he was in Tralee, which I probably would think that wouldn't be his track either. It's a very sharp, very early pace dependent track, if you ask me. He has early pace, but that's a different type of thing. That's a Curraheen Park like kind of early pace you need there. I think that's not what he has. I think I like the way the campaign. I have to be honest about it. I think he'll develop. Doesn't matter to my mind. To them, it will matter whether he wins the Easter Cup or not. But to my mind, I think he's a dog that they know they can develop again across the course of the year.
I would say the 2 targets are the English Derby, the Irish Derby. Be interesting to see if Liam goes to the English Derby, but that's what you're sort of imagining. Honey Sky, I thought, ran a big race in second spot. Yeah. He's turned into a really nice dog. I know Michael Donnelly is, thinks the world of him. Bill Evans, the owner, is delighted with his charge. He's owned some nice dogs in the past. Highview Treat won around third. I want to mention Seven Beach and Clonbrine Treaty. While they finished 4th and 5th, I thought they ran much better than 4th and 5th. Certainly Clonbrine Treaty showed all sorts of pace down the back straight, as you'd imagine. 5.25 yards is certainly whatever about getting away with it when he was youth. He's definitely a 550-yard dog. He needs that longer run to the corner, but I thought he showed loads of pace in the feet. Rye Hope Beach won the Open 5.75, prominent into the opening corner. Didn't run as bad on the corner as he has done. I thought off the second bend he's going to blow holes, but it is Hookham. Like, it is a real powerhouse that's up beside him. He charged to the front then at the third bend. Ballymac Katie ran a really eye-catching run in defeat. Ryhope Beach is such an immensely fast dog, but Ballymac Katie, with immediate targets potentially in mind. Sarah, any mention of Ballymac Katie going across the water?
No, not at all. I don't really delve into those sort of conversations with it because they're not going to tell you really anyway. So I never ask. People keep things close to their chest until they finally make up their minds. It's like all these trains
they'll
going
need to
to
make up the
Cheltenham.
mind. They'll make them because the TV trophy starts on Saturday night. Now, it was mentioned on GTV the other night, so they must be talking to somebody. I'll be making a phone call today, I'd imagine, to Liam Dowling, see if Ballymac Katie is heading for the English Derby or the English TV trophy. Who can run well in second spot? The remainder didn't really get involved. And then Ballymac Marino, at this point in the evening, Tommy, and when you look at the likes of the last three clocks, the 28:59 from the Laddie Dad, which wasn't a bad run given the circumstances. Ryhope Beach 31:29 from a clear run, and Ballymac Marino 29:99 doing everything right on the bunny. I think the track was going back as the night went on. I think it was well back towards the end of the evening. I thought Katunda Kieran ran a big race in defeat behind Ballymac Marino. Met Kira Byrne after the last race. Delighted with him. She said the penny has dropped to them, and they're going to go to the Easter Cup and more than deserving of it. A crack at it, given his run in defeat behind Ballymac Marino. Ballymac Marino, good to see him back to winning ways. Of course, this was his weekend last year, won the Juvenile Classic.
Yeah, good to see him back to winning ways. Right, he did pretty much everything right. Actually, he was quite impressive. I suppose if you tie in the trials that they've been doing in Tralee, and then of course it's not necessarily that you can do that, but like he had been doing what 17:36, 17:57 prior to that. And if you look at the laddie dad doing 17:15, I think in his previous trial before he came to Shelbourne, they're probably exactly where Liam expects them to be with those races, and would expect quite a considerable step up from both of them, I'd imagine.
Yeah, no question about it. I would imagine, just given the power rankings in that kennel, that the laddie that is well up there. I'm not sure to be many ahead of him.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think you necessarily need to be doing 29:20 in the first round of the Easter Cup either. You know what I mean? I think 29:50s and 60 should be getting you safely through, and you can build up towards the 29:30 or 40. I'd expect. I don't think the track is absolutely on fire at the moment, is it?
No, not particularly. Let's get on. Shelbourne Park on Saturday night, the opening round of the Apex Global Resources Limited Cork Oaks. From now on, we're just going to call it the Cork Oaks, just for speed, for speed's sake. Some fine runs down there, Sarah. You see the likes of Castle Ivy Ginge doing 28:31. She's a bitch that's really progressed in the last 2 months for Carl Ramsbottom. She was more of a grading bitch at the back end of last year, but despite her age, she has improved considerably, and she posted a fastest of the round 28:31, just a fine display from the front, 2-1, second choice behind Unmatched in the betting, but led Unmatched home. As I said, just a thoroughly professional performance.
Yeah, it was very good. That's a cracking competition down in Curraheen. I will try to get down to one of the rounds, hopefully the final. I was talking to Jimmy Barry Murphy last week when I was down for the Cork Cup final, and he's very excited about this competition. So yeah, look, the bitches again are out in force. We're talking more about bitches on this Talking Dog show than dogs lately. Like the standard is very, very high.
Wait, we get the Cesarewitch.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Wait,
Honest to God. No, it was Castle Ivy Ginge was very, very good. I really like Unmatched as well. I'm a big fan of that bitch. So I think there's a big win in her this year. Not sure what it's going to be, but I do think she definitely will win something. But look, I was very excited about Buckles Crystal because she's one of my favorite bitches. Like, so I was delighted to see her win on the card as well. I think she just got up. Did she just held on? Yeah, she just held on by a short head. That was a very good performance in 28:45. She was even money favourite, but yeah, a lovely competition, and I think it'll be very competitive. I think it'll be like a cracking competition the whole way throughout. I don't think we'll see the big names, so to speak. I think we'll see something pop out of it that you might not necessarily have seen, or something that will come under the radar, a bit like Super Fast Gordon coming under the radar. We'll definitely see something like that in this competition too.
Yeah, there's a lot of well-known bitches gone through, of course. Tommy's just looking at the winning times. 28:31 was the fastest, 28:45 was the slowest, and the 28:45 was done by Derby runner-up Buckles Crystal. Sarah said the word competitive. Like, this could get very, very competitive very quickly. Obviously, there's only 5 heats, should I say. I assume it's a 3 and 4 to qualify situation. Do we have 3 semi-finals? Do we have 4 second round heats. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that. But obviously, there's lots to look forward to in this Cork Oaks. Over the last few years, it's a competition that has sort of grown in importance. Am I fair in saying that?
It, it's classy competition. Just looking here now, we have
3 heats.
The heat. Sorry, we have 3 heats. I think
3 heats for to qualify next round. So
3 heats. Yeah. I do. I think Johnny Linehan will win it. Either Drubby's one stop or unmatched. I liked unmatched in defeat the other night. I think she's capable of breaking a lot better than she did. She wouldn't be tremendously consistent in that department, but she showed phenomenal pace yet again, which we've known she has. She has 203s in Curraheen, in Shelbourne. She has 320 320 runs in Curraheen Park, which should be good enough to kind of
she can be a touch vulnerable when there's real early speed in her inside. That's
yeah.
just the only sort of thing I would say about that.
No, you're 100% right.
Her dam was a little bit like that as well, Druby Zala, as a star she was, but just when she found herself out in 3 or 4 with early speed in her inside, just not quite getting the corner could be the issue. But as you said, she has it in the book. She has the form there. It's very competitive. The Druby's one-stop bitch. She's just immensely powerful. It's just the lack of, she doesn't have the early speed. Simple as that. But yeah, if the gaps open up, she won't be far away.
I just think the two of them ran particularly well the other day, and they're going so hard to the line. It's going to be like at this time of year, in another 5-to-5 competitions on this Curraheen Park, which is a speed track. At this time of year, it does take it out of you week on week, particularly when the track isn't on fire. Takes it a little out and kind of brings stamina into it a bit more. I just really like the way both of those ran the other night. They mightn't lead, and I would say, and you kind of hit the nail on the head. With unmatched, I do think she's one of those bitches. When she's in a race where she should win, she really dominates.
Yeah,
she finds a way to get around in front of when that pace isn't there, as you say, that early pace there, she doesn't fluff her lines. She tends to take that opportunity and take it really well. But I just think it's a competition that could work out to suit the likes of herself and Druby's one stop. Sorry, and I think at this stage, I know it's a bit early to be saying, but I think between what I picked up from the first round was that one of those now would be what be on my mind to win it.
Yeah, and history will dictate. Certainly, recent history will tell you that at least 1 or 2 of these competitors will go through to the likes of the Sporting Press Irish Oaks final later in the year. It's a great guide for all the bitch competitions coming up. Just on the undercard, I want to give it a mention. A big run in the sprint by Burgess Jack, a dog I was so impressed with on a couple of occasions last year. He won an open sprint and Limerick. It could have been Kirby final night, or it could have been Ledger final night. I can't remember. I'm not going to look it up at this stage. But he beat Ballymac Alf. That's a very good line of form. That was on the undercard. And the final race was won by Jack Tavern Bolt. Good to see him back to racing, back to winning ways, having suffered a defeat at Limerick last time out. He won in 28:36. That's a good guide to how the track was going. He's such a professional tracker. You'd imagine we'll see plenty of him at Curraheen Park through the year, Tommy, with the Laurels probably being his ultimate target.
I think so, and you're right. It's a good guide to the way the track is at the moment, and it ties them all out. What I was saying about it being a little bit tougher at the moment. 325. I mean, you can dip under 320, but like that's only during the Laurels when the track is absolutely at its peak. I think you know what I mean. This 325 is very, very smart at this time of year, and 28:36 is a really good run, and not a surprise because when those boys, the Pillar Syndicate, have their runners down here, they don't tend to lose too many times.
No, I certainly don't. They have a great record around Cork. Sarah, there's a lot going on over the next few weeks. Will you even get a chance to get down to the Cork Oaks?
Yeah, because I have a calendar that I fill out. I try to do it month by month, and there was a lot of clashes. And a lot of weekends. My weekends are now gone. I have zero social life, but I don't care because I get to meet people at the track, and it's great. Like you're chatting to. I try to chat to everyone. It's impossible. Like there's just there's so much going on. Easter Cup, Conanany, Kirby, Cork Oaks, the Browntown Tango unraced. It's great, but it's hectic. And it's busy for us because we're writing about it and keeping up with it and trying to get to the tracks and stuff. So, but look, it could be worse, couldn't it? It could be nothing. We could be trying to look for stuff, but it's very busy. Also, we must mention the launch that I went on Tuesday for Willie Rigney and Time. The Select Stakes, the Cesarewitch, obviously, this new exciting A4 Graders Derby, which we don't actually know when it's going to start. We just mentioned it in the launch, the Juvenile Derby. Like, fair play to Willie Rigney on time, and his son Shane, and John Fox there as well. Like, it's brilliant to see these sponsors getting behind even more competitions. So we've a lot to look forward to. But that A4 Graders Derby will be €20,000 to the winner. So it's pretty big. Just wanted to mention that as well. And thanks to
Up
Willie.
and down the country, there are dogs being readied for the A4 Derby, Tommy. I bet you it's not won an A4 time, Tommy. What price is that?
Oh, no, you're a real cynic.
Yeah, but I think there will be a rule that if you do a huge clock in the first round, you're gone, like the novice rule. I think that will be brought in.
Don't worry, there's ways around that too. Right, let's get on to it. The time, speaking of time, the time Irish Cesarewitch got underway at Mullingar on Sunday afternoon. I know you were there, Sarah, because I saw you interviewing the owner of the first heat winner, Brigadier Jacks, won at 20-1. This was the type of dog that I thought it would cost, being the fact there was only one run into the final, but it actually worked out in its favour because it has Mullingar knowledge. It knew where it was going, charged the opening corner, got around, wins at 20-1, 33.90. Well done to Eva Beatty, and Brigadier Jacks is a Cesarewitch finalist.
Yeah, unbelievable. If anyone has seen her interview, you'd know how ecstatic she was. This is the only race dog she has, and she mentioned in the interview she has about 40 dogs with her daughter and daughter-in-law. They rehome to Germany and stuff like that. She's a great system set up. She was explaining it to me afterwards when we were walking back to the kennels. So she's a wonderful ambassador for the sport because she's sending these dogs all around the world. But that dog ran an absolute cracker. And I was looking at the card beforehand, and it's easy to get swayed going like 20-1. You don't even look at some of the dogs and you're thinking, but Mullingar is so unique, as we all know. You have to have experience. I don't care what you say. You have to have experience around Mullingar. We've seen so much traffic problems between the third and fourth bends in the majority of the races by dogs that just hadn't been around there. And this dog knew his way. He showed his professionalism. He showed his love for the track. It was marked 70 slow as well, just to note. But he ran an absolute cracker, and she's now into the Cesarewitch final. It's a brilliant story, and loads of people messaged me afterwards saying they hope
it's always 70 slow. 70 slow is the grading tool down in Mullingar. It just goes to show, like, Brigadier Jackson, the final of Cesarewitch, gets knocked out of Cesarewitch or doesn't win the Cesarewitch next week. It can run an A2 competition in Shelbourne Park the following week. It's strange the way that the times work down in Mullingar. Second heat went to Ballycairn Flash, led run up, stayed on. It actually was headed briefly at the third bend by fire time, but the pair of them clashed, and Ballycairn Flash went on again to land the spoils at 8-1. Well done there to Evan Henrik and Julia McCarthy. They'll be delighted to have a Cesarewitch finalist. Pepe Noir was, a dog having its first run outside of Munster in Heat 3, got loose early. I thought one of the more impressive winners, wins by 2 lengths in 33.26. Anytime you're going sort of sub 33.40 around Mullingar, you're racing. He had a good card at Limerick, some fine runs, including a 32.67 in his previous outing at Limerick. So great to see him winning for Arthur Morrissey. And November 21, Whelp, son of Pastana, certainly going the right way and seemed to really love Mullingar the other evening. Well done to all involved there. Fate Point Angry, a dog I've always been a big fan of. He's now trained by Chris Flanagan for Patricia Flanagan. His problem in recent times has been his starting, but he got loose early, and that was the key to success. He has a huge engine, 33.24, a massive run from the front. He qualified, winning by 12 lengths. Bobsleigh Dream, the defending champion, will be back in the final. One of the slower heat winners in 34.10, but there was plenty happening in this contest. Balked on the opening corner, sort of found herself having nearly gone around in front, fourth early in the back straight, charged to the third bend, moved off the third bend, bumps then with neon lights. All of a sudden, Fate Point David challenged up the inside. He runs off the last bend, clips Bobsleigh Dream, who's looking for the inside. She gets balked again, but she still maintains her lead and then holds on by a head from Fate Point David. Have no fear, she can go much faster than the 34.10. And the last heat, well, no surprise probably to see Sing Along Dolly handling Mullingar as well as she did. Of course, she would have done much of her early schooling at Mullingar. In fact, one of her qualifying trials is at Mullingar, but just given where she was bred and where she was reared, I would imagine it wasn't her first, second, third, or fourth look at Mullingar. She looked right at home for Pat Buckley. She is developing or creating quite a CV for herself. She won the Puppy Oaks. She won the Champion Bitch Stake. And on this display, she will clearly be favoured probably for the final of the Time Irish Cesarewitch, having posted 33.06, just over 2 lengths outside the track record, winning by 12 lengths. A sensational performance. Sarah, it's a cracking little final now. Obviously, you'll have a couple of very big price runners, including the Brigadier Dog, the likes of Sing Along Dolly, Bobsleigh Dream, Pepe Noir, and Fairy Point Angry. They're the 4 that'll be at the head of the betting. What way do you see it?
Yeah, Ava was standing beside me when we done the draw, and she was delighted to get trap 2 again. So look, stranger things have happened in, but as much as I love fairy tale stories, I would absolutely love if Bobsleigh Dream won back-to-back titles, because like she's nearly 4, or she could be 4 already. We're not going to see much more of her this year, I don't think. So what a way to go out with a bang if she was to win this. And I think she's the same. Did she win it from trap 4 last year? I think she did. And she's in the same trap again. Look, she's beside
3 or something like that.
Yeah, she's beside her kennel mate, but which will probably lead again, Sing Along Dolly. She was ultra professional. My God, she blew me away. And after the pickup, like I had to take pictures at them at the pickup. Like she's ready to go again. She's a cracking bitch, so she is. I fell in love with her a long time ago. I seen her in Galway that time, and she ran the Droopies Mandolin one. But Bobsleigh Dream was fantastic. I got a picture of her and Emma before they went out to race, and she's kissing the face off her. She absolutely loves this girl. And the owner was there, Willie Joe Murphy. He done the presentation afterwards because the guys were busy getting the next runner ready. They did a good few runners down there. But yeah, look, it was just, I love Mullingar and I love this Cesarewitch. It's a race that's close to my heart. And I just think that, we must mention Rough Frankie as well, that won the Kilbride Kennels.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Cesarewitch first. You didn't happen to take down the trap draw. It's not online, sadly.
I'll try to remember. So Fay Point's in 1, Brigadier is in 2. I can't remember who's in Bobsleigh Dreams 4, Sing Along Dolly's 5, and that middle runner is obviously in 6. Is it Pepe Noir is the middle runner? Just to mention as well, when I interviewed Arthur Morrissey of Pepe Noir, I spoke to Alice afterwards. So last night was his year anniversary that the dog had started his career, Pepe Noir. They were telling me he's a couch potato. He lives at home on the couch. He is by Pastana, but he's also his couch buddy is a Pastana puppy. And they showed me a picture on their phone, and the 2 of them just live in the couch and roam around the house, and they're happy as Larry, and like lovely people. I never met them before, and they're big fans of the show. They told me to say hi, so yeah, well done to them.
They're obviously good judges. So he won his debut with Clonmel on March 10th in 29.06 last year, or sorry, 29.16 minus 10 last year, and as you said, a year to the day, a 33.26 winner in the Cesarewitch semi-finals, as you say, racing from trap 6. Could be a good draw. Bobsleigh Dream and Sing Along Dolly, they won't be getting in his way anyway. So yeah, a good final to look forward to next Sunday afternoon, St. Patrick's Day, and of course a big crowd expected at Mullingar. You mentioned the Midlands Derby sponsored by Kilbride Kennels. It's been ultra competitive over the last few weeks. Hawkfield Abbey had set the standard, I suppose, in the opening round, breaking the track record, but she was drawn 5 in the final. And while I did tip her up, I sort of said very much with the proviso that she had to get loose and get a clear run to the corner. If that wasn't the case, Rough Frankie was the dog with the draw. He didn't need the draw. He came away relatively well in terms in contrast to a semi-final when completely walking out and had to work hard to get there, but showed terrific early speed into the opening corner. This race was over after 20 strides. Once he went to the front, he stretched on 5 or 6 lengths clear. Fate Point Jet emerged from the pack and closed all the way to line to be beaten 1.5 lengths. But Rough Frankie, a tremendous winner for Curtis Bain, making the journey down from the north to land the spoils with Rough Frankie. He's a nice dog, Sarah. The one sort of area, it's just that first two or three strides with him. He's not a 5.25-yard greyhound. He really is a 5.50-yard greyhound. But I'm sure they'll be targeting other prizes with this fellow. There was a fine display, unbeaten through the competition, and lands a very decent €3,300 for himself.
Yeah, it was a great prize money, actually. I've seen the sponsors there as the Hanlons, the twins. Fair play to them. And again, great to see the sponsorship from these people. So yeah, look, Rough Frankie was, it was over, as you say, within those first few strides. once he hit the front, he's a determined dog. He wasn't going to be passed. The draw was always in the back of our minds against Hawkfield Abbey. As good as the dog is, obviously, track record and all that, it has to go right, especially down in Mullingar. So fair play to Rough Frankie, just a tremendous effort, and that was his fastest clock, I think, throughout the competition as well, doing 29.90. So improving to win the final is a good way to do it as well. An excellent prize money, 3,300. So fair play to them. I didn't actually ask, because I interviewed Curtis after the race, and I never asked him what his plan is next for the dog, but we can look forward to seeing him somewhere. I'm sure he looks like a versatile type. I know they race up the north predominantly, so whether they'll travel around with him, we hope he will, because we hope to see him in the future.
He's mini open now. It's just interesting to see, like, he had 14 races before he went to Mullingar, and his only victory was in Shelbourne Park.
Yeah.
And his third start, he'd been beaten in something like 8 or 10 in a row at Drumbo Park, obviously finding a bit of trouble, probably just arriving at the corner at the wrong time, and that probably, you can see that in his performance the other night. It's just that immediate acceleration is not there, but once he gets going, he really motors into the corner. The last 50 yards into the bend, like, he's showing sprinting type pace. Like, I'd say you could nearly run him at a 2-bend affair and see how he gets on. But I'd be interested to see how he goes. Very well bred type. His damn Bubbly Rose was very useful across the pond for the Champagne Club. Last but certainly not least, we just want to give a quick mention on Friday night, the time 8-3-8-4 competition got underway at Galway. Some nice performances, but the standout display was a 28.77 by around Galway. It's every now and again they pop up. Magical Noah, representing Sandra and Patrick Guilfoyle, son of Grangeview 10. Grangeview Mags posted 28.77 minus the 10, 28.67 in what was just his third start, his second win from 2 starts over 4 bends, his only defeat coming over 2 bends in the sprint. A nice dog to look forward to. I'd imagine 1 or 2 dogs will emerge from that in the coming weeks, but a good competition down at Galway. That's it. Busy weekend, Tommy. Busy weekend. You're set for a busy week. Tell us exactly where you are right now.
I am in Stow on the Wold, about half an hour from Cheltenham Racecourse, and I'll be here for the week, so it'll be busy. Paul
Hennessy won't hang on a second now. There've been great successes for Irish Greyhound racing in Cheltenham over the last few years. There've been a couple here and there. Paul Hennessy doesn't have a runner. Will be any doggy men there? Any men we'll be looking out for?
To be half the country, half the people who follow Greyhound racing will be over here for the week. Yeah, it's going to be great. But the only thing is, it's, as I said, I was chatting with Gary O'Brien and Ruby Walsh beforehand, doing the hour before this, doing a preview of Cheltenham, and we were just saying, like, it needs to be more competitive. It's going to be a complete greenwash this week. It's just going to be Irish winner after Irish winner, and while that's great in one way, it's not great for the future of the sport. That's the way it's got. The longer it lasts like that,
it's surely long odds on that Willie Mullins has more winners than the UK.
4 to 6 or something like that. That Willie has more than all the UK trainers together.
That's unbelievable.
And actually, Gary put up.
Did I hear another stat the other day that on the Tuesday only 3 UK trained horses are single figures?
Yeah,
it's mad, isn't it?
Crazy. It's crazy stuff, but it just goes the strength that we have at the moment. You prefer a more even divide. It's actually a bit like the Greyhound racing at the moment.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
let's hope for something similar
people.
like that in Toaster, that the Irish are hopefully going to be dominant. Now, Sarah, you were going to ask him, firstly, what's the nap of the week?
Yeah, so before I ask you that, Tommy, the Walls have a runner in Cheltenham, trained by Gavin Cromwell. I can't think of the name. She's running in a mare's race, so everyone look for that in the mare's race on Friday. That's it, well done, Tommy. Yeah, so that's a Greyhound connection. So there we go.
Sure is.
We'll all be getting behind that one.
Speaking of which, the Walls, Thomas Wall had a winner in Crufts last week, winning the Rough Collie. Listen,
I met his dogs down.
I don't know anything about it, but one of them did win. I don't believe it's his first success in Crufts, so congratulations to Thomas. Tommy, what's the nap of the week?
Oh, that's a tricky question. I'll give you 2 horses at prices I think will run really well. I think a horse called Trelawn, a lot has been made about him jumping out to his right one day. It only happened once. He has run well at Cheltenham. He's about 16 to 1 or so for the Ultimate on Tuesday, and his form ties in with a horse called Crebilly, who's running in the plate.
Which Johnny Janine is very keen on.
Yeah, that has a great chance. And then of course, um, just watch for the gamble on Watford Whispers on Friday.
You'll be favourite to win the. Is that the
Watford
Carl?
I'm writing
Martin
these down
Pipe,
then,
Martin Pipe,
Tommy.
Martin Pipe. Martin Pipe.
Martin Pipe,
Okay. Sarah,
Martin
do you
Pipe.
have any words of wisdom for next week?
No, I've fallen out of sync with all my sports. I do like Conflated. I think he'll go well. He's probably too short. I'm not sure what price he is, but yeah, I've lost my connection with horses altogether with this since I've started with GRI because I'm just focused on greyhounds all the time. So look, I'm hoping to go over to Cheltenham. I've my flights booked. So please God, I go over in the morning. I want to mention because I like putting up anti-post selections, right? We were speaking earlier on about the laddie da. He's 20-1 to win the Board Sports Irish Greyhound Derby, and I wouldn't put anyone off backing him. Like, if you look at his form, he's crowded on the run up, balked at the first, stumbled at the traps. He hasn't had it all go his way in races lately. And he done 29.15, I think, in the first round of the Derby last year. So he's one of my anti-post selections. And I was very impressed with Katunda Kieran in the last race. He should have, or nearly won the goal collar, probably should have won the goal collar. But Scott Phelan is an excellent trainer, up and coming trainer. And I know they were very disappointed to not get nominated with 365 in the bitch category, but she will be back this year. And I hope he's going to have loads of success this year because he deserves it. A great kennel and Kira Byrne, they're lovely people. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that before we go. And Tommy, if you hear of anything over in Cheltenham, you'll text us, won't you?
Of course, of course.
My selection last year was Impere Pass. He duly obliged in fine style. I'm just going to go out in a high and not give you one. All right. Let's look at Cheltenham, Tommy. I expect a text every morning, the usual, about 9:30 in the morning on your way to the course. Thanks very much. That's it, though, from Talking Dogs on this Monday. It's been an incredible weekend of greyhound racing in Ireland. Of course, more to come. The Easter Cup, sponsored by Bresbet, kicking off at Shelbourne Park on Saturday night. We have the final of the Time Irish Cesarewitch at Mullingar on Saturday. The Cork Oaks continues. The Brownstown Tango Newbridge Track Supporters Unraced continues. And so many more competitions we'll be getting underway in the next couple of weeks. So keep in touch. We'll see you next Monday. Actually, we might see you next Tuesday. I think next Monday is a bank holiday. We'll see. Could be next Tuesday morning. But that's it from us on this Monday evening. My thanks again to the Cheshire Cat and the Exile Dub. We'll see you next time. Good luck. God bless. Good evening.